Hey folks, Ray at DCrainmaker.com here. Today I've got a full walkthrough of the menu and user interface of the Garmin Venu watch. Now I just dropped my full written in-depth review full of like a gazillion photos and text and data and runs and 3 months of usage all in one big post. And I also have a 7 new things to know video on the Garmin Venu as well that you can check out up in the corner there. So that covers all the new stuff on the watch compared to past Vivo Active Series watches. This is all just about the user interface. I'm going to show you and walk you through all the stuff in the watch, basically just step by step. Some might consider it boring, but if you're into that, this is the video for you. So with that, we're just gonna go right into it. I'm gonna cover music and sports and settings and all the things I can dork around in the menu. We're gonna cover them, which is why the camera's here and why I'm leaning this way. Also, by the way, this cool shirt is linked in the description thingy down below there, that merch bar or whatever it's called. You'll see it right there. So starting off on the watch itself, this is a live watch face. So you'll notice it went ahead and just automatically changed a little animation right there. There's one of about 4 to 5 live watch faces, though I actually prefer this one the most, the New York City one. I just think it's cool. Like it's well executed, looks pretty nice. I can go and change it by holding down that right hand button right there, tapping watch face, and I can choose the different one. So I can go and tap this right there. You can see another one. You'll note sometimes my taps will be off. It's because I'm trying to hold the watch and doing it from a different angle. So it's almost always me and my tap's not really so much the watch. So it's me, not you. So anyways, clocks is where you'll see time, stopwatch, timer. So you can just go into some of these and you can do stopwatch and some of the basic functions that you would expect on a lot of watches. For here though, for workouts, you're gonna use the actual workout functionality. We're gonna go back though here first, back to that watch face. And this is where I can swipe up to different widgets. So this is the respiration rate widget. Now because the sensor is not on my skin right now, it's not gonna show me my actual respiration rate. You can see that optical heart rate sensor right there. Also, this is the charging port. That's the same one as you would have seen on Garmin watches over the last couple years. And then on the right-hand side here, there are 2 buttons. So that's a big change from the past Garmin Vivo Active Series, where there are now 2 buttons. Primarily in sports, you'll want to use those 2. Start and stop up here, and then down the right-hand corner, that is the lap button. So I find it super handy. It's also just a really quick and easy way to get back and turn the display on. Speaking of which, this display is always on. There are 2 basic modes. One is where you have it always on all the time, and then this fancy part here where those clouds are, they'll go away normally on always on, and you'll just see the time left there. Or you can use it in the non-always on mode, which is like this right now. It turns off the screen when you're not using it, so when you raise your wrist, it'll turn the screen back on, otherwise it'll go like this. In this mode here, you'll get about 5 to 7 days of battery life. With the always on mode, you're looking at a solid 2.5 to 3 days in my experience, including an hour or 2 of GPS time, so like during the week or whatnot, for a short workout. So back into the widgets, you can see this is a respiration rate widget. I can tap it and see respiration rate over the last 7 days. I can see much more data on the Garmin Connect mobile app. Scrolling up again, PulseOx. Again, I'm not actually on my wrist, so you can't see that, but measures your PulseOx and then stores that information. You can also go ahead and change the settings to do that 24/7 or just during sleep if you want to. And then we have music right here. So it'll go ahead and connect it to a pair of Bluetooth headphones. In my case, I'm predominantly using the Beats there. So I can go ahead and just hit play. And if I put this next to this microphone, you can probably hear it playing there briefly. Don't want to get myself in trouble with YouTube music though. I can tip or hit the skip button to skip to the next track. I can go in here and change to other playlists. In this case, I'm connected to Spotify. So a playlist called Starbucks Coffee House, a playlist called Pizza Making, and so on. I can add other music right there. And this will pull from playlists that I have in my Spotify account or podcasts as well. And then down the road, if I need to update that music, I just simply click Update Downloads. It'll connect to my Wi-Fi network and then go ahead and pull down that music. Now, because I'm not plugged in, because my battery's a bit low, it won't do that. So you won't want to plug that in to go ahead and make sure that it can download without dying before it gets to the end of it there. And so the general rule of thumb I use is about 8, maybe if you're really lucky, 10 songs per minute will download on Wi-Fi. So it's best just to like, if you want to download a really big playlist, go ahead and do that. Just plug it in and kind of walk away for a little bit. So we'll go back up here, swipe past ones we just looked at. This are my notifications. So you can see these are right there. That's from Strava, oddly enough. So if I go back and clear out a couple more and find another one, this is from YouTube. There are icons and emojis on a lot of these, but not necessarily all of them. So some of the icons turn out well and some of them not so much. I'd love to see, by icons I mean emojis, I'd love to see Garmin do a bit more work on that particular bit there. So I see all the emojis I would expect that I would normally see on my iPhone itself. Here is a weather widget. I can tap into that. I can scroll through the weather and I can see that essentially it's going to rain forever because I live in the Netherlands. And so therefore all I get is rain, lots and lots of rain. So back up in this here. Keep on going. We've got my calendar, nothing coming up there. Hydration. This allows me to track hydration, primarily water in most cases. And hydration tracking is used in a lot of dieting methods because it helps with losing weight. So keeping well hydrated is really good for losing weight. And so it'll track this and remind you every 2 hours on the even hours. So 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., etc. Anything with 2, 4, 6, 8, it'll remind you to go ahead and log that particular hydration for the last little bit. Here is body battery. So this is kind of like Street File style energy. I find it pretty good. I find it's pretty close to what I'm actually feeling like. And you can track this on not just the last 8 hours, but over the course of many, many days. Just like you can track heart rate as well. I can tap that. I can see resting heart rate automatically on this screen. And again, all this information is also on Garmin Connect mobile on your phone, as well as online, that you can get into much more depth there. This is history of workouts over the last week, essentially. So I click on this, I go into a workout. Mondays was a mountain bike ride I did. You can see the track right there of that particular ride. And if I had more workouts of other tracks outdoors, most of the rest are all indoor rides, then I can go ahead and see that as well right there in those particular kind of rough tracks. Going up here, I've got my health stats. So this would measure all this in real time. So if I were to put this on my finger, I might be able to pull this off and get some of this, and you'll see the heart rate, the stress level, the body battery, the respiration rate coming in there. So there we go. There's the respiration rate, my breathing rate first, and then we'll see my heart rate at 60 or so, so kind of stabilizing there. Again, my finger is really not the best place to measure it. Normally it's on your wrist. And then I'll pull in the stress level and body battery in a little bit here. Again, not really the best way to do it on your wrist, but that's all right. And then there we go, slide back to the beginning there, go back up, and let's go show you some more stats. So that was health stats. I can tap that and I can see the summary of each one of those over the last 4 to 8 hours, depending on what it is, or the day. And then if I go up one more time, I can see my day. And this is where you're tracking things like steps and calories, hydration, sort of a summary of your particular day. And then we're back to the beginning again. So now we're gonna go into the workout options. So I go ahead and tap this upper right-hand screen right there, or right-hand button, sorry. And I choose run, and this is where I would wait for GPS. But if I swipe up like this, get rid of that speed and cadence sensor, I can choose a structured workout. For example, one of these, I can go into it, I can look at the steps for it. I can create and download my own from Garmin Connect Mobile or Garmin Connect onto the watch. So if you want to do a more complex workout or make your own complex workout, you can do that. And I can go into settings here, configure up to 3 different data screens plus the heart rate gauge. I can tap on one of these. I can choose the layout that I want. So I can see 1 screen, 2, 3 screens, 2 screens, and so on, or data fields, sorry. And then I choose edit data fields. And this is where I can choose a field I want to edit, like heart rate down at the bottom there. So we can go and edit a given data page, change the heart rate, for example, go to change timer field to anything else we want to. There's tons of fields in here, not as many as like a Phoenix series, but there is plenty of fields to choose from across a wide number of different categories. Stepping on back through here, you have the ability to go ahead and enable auto lap for distance, either miles or kilometers, as well as auto pause, auto scroll, change the GPS type between GLONASS and Galileo. I'd recommend sticking with the default to GLONASS for right now. That's where Garmin spent the most time in optimizing their watches. And then going back here, we're back into the main GPS page, waiting for that. Not going to find it indoors, no big deal. We'll just hit start for right now. And you can see these data pages and I can swipe through them just like this. And I haven't really had any issues on sweat or rain, which there's plenty of here. It works pretty well for me. Mostly though, I'm using the start and stop up here. And you can see right there, there's a lap button triggering that. And then if I click stop at the top right-hand corner here, it'll go ahead and stop this. And I can discard this workout just like that. So let me show you one other workout type, which is a yoga workout, because it has a bunch of the new animations. The same is true for Pilates, but I'll go ahead and choose yoga right there. And You can see it's connected to my headphones, which is kind of handy. Swipe up, and you can see there's workouts to choose from. Oops, too far. Workouts. I'm going to choose sun salutations, and you can see all these steps here. So it shows all the steps, so lots and lots and lots and lots of steps. And for each one of those steps, it'll show the exact animation for what you should be doing. So we're going to swipe back. We're going to go and start this do workout. There we go. We'll start it. And you'll see it's going to tell you what you're going to do, mountain pose first, and it's going to show you a picture of that particular pose. So you can see right there, and then along the outer edge here, it's telling you how much time is remaining. Now this is one of many different data pages, so you can also swipe up. You can see mountain pose again, your heart rate if you want to be just on just this one screen. Swipe up again, you can see respiration rate, stress, respiration rate, heart rate, timer, and then back to just a heart rate screen, and then just the pose screen. And you can see again that timer on the outer edge there going down. If you want to skip this particular step, you just click the bottom right hand button and it goes to the next pose automatically. And then you'll see it'll show you that particular pose right there. And you can just keep on iterating through all 53 or so steps of this particular workout. You see it just went right to the next one. I'm going to go ahead and stop though for now, and we'll go ahead and end this. So discard again, and we're good to go. So that's a quick overview of the sports side of things. Let me just go back into the settings really quick though. So hold the bottom right hand button down, and then we see down here the settings options right there. Activities and apps. These are the activities I've cited as my favorite. So run, bike indoor. And you can see all the extra activities right here I can set as favorites or access them on demand, as well as add even more activities down there in the lower right hand corner. So for example, navigate right there, navigate settings, and you can change the settings for that particular activity. Going to go scroll on back there out of this. Widgets, this is where I can change the widgets that we looked at earlier. You can change, for example, which widgets are shown or add more widgets as well. There's lots and lots of widgets to look at here, and lots and lots of widgets to add, and even more from Garmin Connect IQ Online, which is their app store, all of which are free widgets there. Controls menu changes this controls as quick access control. I can access payments or Spotify, my location, so you can go ahead and customize that if you want to. Watch face we already talked about. Wrist heart rate is where I can enable or disable the optical heart rate sensor on the back, as well as go ahead and turn on broadcasting over AMP+. Still no broadcasting over Bluetooth Smart though, which is kind of a bummer. I really wish there was. And also change PulseOx and how the tracking is. So there's all day, during sleep, etc. Speaking of which, by the way, so this is something like if you were to choose all day, that'll absolutely kill your battery life. During sleep is a better option if you really want, or you can just do those manual ones whenever you want right there. Also, as an aside, if you're finding this video interesting or useful, definitely go ahead and whack that like button at the bottom right now. It really helps out the video and the channel quite a bit. So back into the menus here a little bit more for a couple more things. Sensors, we compare different sensors, add new heart rate, headphones, speed, cadence, foot pod, tempi, lights. All these you compare multiple sensors, including multiple headphones. So it's kind of handy sometimes. Here comes a smartphone notification right there. I can go and tap on that. In this case, actually, sorry, it's already open, so I can't tap on it anymore to get more detail, but I can swipe up and click clear, and then get back to what I was doing here. You can see some of my sensors that I've saved down there at the bottom. So there's my power beats, that's the headphones, speed and cadence sensor, cadence, and I can also add golf club sensors right there as well. So back into here, we showed you the music stuff. I showed you the music stuff already. You can see the music providers right there, Deezer, Spotify. These are the ones that are on the unit, but I haven't actually configured Deezer up. I just configured Spotify on this one. And then going back again, you can see headphones, the audio, whether it's stereo or mono. And then going back further, phone settings, Wi-Fi settings, kind of what you'd expect there. Safety and tracking though, this is where I can go ahead and enable or disable instant detection. Instant detection is if I'm cycling and I were to crash, it would notify my emergency contacts and then send my existing or my current location and then continue tracking my location. So for example, if you got into an ambulance, then your friends and family would know that you're in an ambulance going to the hospital. And then if I go back here, there's assistance. And assistance will go ahead and send a notification to your emergency contacts when you hold this upper right hand button here for 3 seconds. And that's primarily if you were like walking through a dark parking lot and someone was sketchy, coming towards you, you could hold that and it would start tracking your location. For both of these, you do need to go ahead and have your phone on you though. So it's got to use your phone for that cellular connectivity, and you can cancel it if you need to. So I'm gonna go back out here, just the main screen, just like this. I'm gonna hold this down and you'll see what I'll do in just a second. Keep on holding, get past that, and boom. Now it's going to go ahead within 3 seconds or so and send that. I'm going to cancel this though, just like that, and I'm good to go. Now, one last thing, if I do a light hold up here, you'll see that it gets to my controls menu, and this is where I can access Garmin Pay to do wireless payment. So right there, a contactless payment. So now I put my PIN in. At this point, you'll go ahead and see the amount of time I have remaining to make that tap payment using NFC. Now, keep in mind, this will vary based on your bank, so you'll need to go ahead and figure out if your bank supports this. Most credit card companies in the US do support this. Outside the US, it's rather variable. But this has worked just fine for me, and so it's been a handy little addition. At this point, I think we've covered just about all there is to cover. I'm just going to double check here, go back into settings. There we go, back into settings. Make sure I'm not missing anything down in the settings deep that I wanted to cover. There we go. And I think that's about it. So hopefully you found this interesting or useful, or whatever the case may be. If you did, again, please whack that like button in the bottom right-hand corner there, or the subscribe button for more sports technology goodness. Have a good one.